All right. Hang it up. For All-Star Lanes in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Crescent City Sports is proud to bring you the Ochsner LHSAA Bowling Championships. This afternoon, we've got a first. It's the singles finals of the LHSAA Bowling Championships. And good afternoon, everybody. Lenny Van Gilder joined this afternoon by Jesuit head coach Todd Bourgeois. Todd Whittington, our producer today. And Todd, this is new. We have not had a singles final before. Typically, it's been what's known in bowling parlance as a sweeper format, just 4 games determining a champion. A little bit different today in terms of how we have gotten here, and that we bowled 3 games this morning to get to a top 6, both boys and girls, and we will show you coverage of both the boys and girls modified stepladder finals.
This was something that we've always wanted, and the last couple of years it's been 4 games highest. That's how it was. But the coaches have wanted this. I know the bowlers have wanted this, and this is the first year. I know we're all excited to see how this is going to turn out.
Let's look at the 2 step ladders here. Let's go ladies first. And it's pretty star-studded as you look at the averages. 4 of the 6 highest average bowlers in the state have reached the stepladder final. With, you see the number 1 seed there, Sydney Lee, at a 665 series this morning to earn the top seed. As Harry Golden used to say way back when on the PBA Tour, she'll be waiting in the wings for the championship match. And you see the modified format here. Numbers 4, 5, and 6 on the left of your screen. Audrey Sedatal from Denham Springs, Olivia Barras from Archbishop Chappelle, Ashton Yochis from Dutchtown will bowl in the first match. The high score from those 3 will advance into the second match against the 2 seed Paris Mendonis of Airline, who was the highest average bowler in the state, along with Addison Lejeune from Dutchtown. One thing you notice there, 3 Dutchtown bowlers, they qualified 10 for these finals and got 3 of them into the stepladder.
Dutchtown had an amazing team this year, both on the boys' side and the girls' side. And to be here right now, you had to throw some really good games.
Yeah.
And that's why they're here today.
Let's switch over and take a look at the boys' brackets. And again, you see star power in this first match with Preston West of Dutchtown. 238 average for the 2nd consecutive year. Actually, by a fraction of a pin, broke his own record for season average in the state of Louisiana. He'll be taking on in this first match a couple of guys from northern part of the state. Landon Sullivan of Alexandria, Price Metzger of Airline. And then you'll notice on the right side of your screen, Archbishop Shaw went 1-2 in the qualifying. Jonathan Arena is the number 1 seed, actually struck out in the 10th frame to go past his teammate Riley Elwood for the number 1 seed. And they battled it out all year for the number 6 spot in their lineup. They went back and forth at different times. Did it again here this morning. And a couple of big series. John Cador of Woodlawn of Baton Rouge, we'll get more into that. He's the 3 seed after shooting the best game of the morning, 290 in the final game to jump up into the stepladder.
No doubt, we all expected to see Preston here. He's bowled phenomenal the entire year. The 2 Shaw bowlers, we bowled right next to them, and they were on fire. They were just in the groove, and I'd expect them to be the same way now.
We will see how this all plays out. Both all 6 bowlers competing in our first match here, getting in their practice balls as we speak, about to be finished up. And this should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this format. And again, we're going to get down. You're going to see double-barreled action. We'll go back and forth between boys and girls here in the first 2. When we get down to 2, then we're going to move over in front of us to lanes 13 and 14 for the final matches of both. We'll go girls first and then boys second. So it will be, like I say, entertaining to watch and see how this first ever, and I call it modified stepladder because it's not the traditional stepladder that you see in tournaments, or particularly in PBA telecast, where, you know, the old days of the PBA, it was always a 5-man stepladder, 5-4, 5 bowls 4, the winner bowls 3, the winner bowls 2, the winner bowls 1. You've got 3-player matches going on here. It just kind of changes the format a bit.
I expect to see some big scores in these matches. I really do.
No doubt about it. So we'll see how it all plays out. Practice balls are finished. We will get set.
Girls that have the lineup that way. Once the 3rd bowler bowls the first shot in the frame, then the leadoff bowler can then go to the other and start bowling. Right, good luck. good bowling, good sportsmanship.
All right, so here we go. And it'll be two Dutchtown bowlers starting off. Ashton Yochis, who was the MVP of yesterday's state championship match, the win over Denham Springs. Dutchtown winning their first state championship. That'll be on lane 11, and on lane 15, it'll be Preston West. He wastes no time and just gets right up there. Two-handed left-hander, leaves a 7-pin. But
Good shot.
yeah. One thing about Preston, he's got a very high carry rate. He throws a very powerful bowling ball, almost 18 miles an hour, and his classmate Ashton Yochis starts with a strike. Yochis is headed to Nebraska next year. Academic and athletic star.
Yep.
Was one of the honorees on the all-academic team introduced before today's action, and that is all A's. And now Olivia Barres carries a strike to get things started. So two strikes to start things off here. And we'll get our first look at Audrey Sedetol from Denham Springs. She was in that final match yesterday. A lot of credit to Denham Springs. They were the number 6 seed. They had some losses off of that team a year ago and got back to the state championship. But just Dutchtown was too much. So all three of our girls in this first match start off with a strike in the opening frame. All three boys trying to convert spares. As we're looking in on 15 and 16, and you see Metzger missing his spare, and now Sullivan double wood at the 2-8 will convert. So that's how this gets started. Girls continuing to string strikes. Yochis starts with a double. And West gets the first strike on the boys' side. Then we get our first look at Olivia Barres from Archbishop Chappelle. Bowled as an 8th grader, did not bowl varsity last year, and then came back this year, was in the number 6 spot, and her game improved immensely. And I will tell you, it was all hard work. There was not a day you went out to a bowling center this summer and you didn't see Olivia out there bowling.
I think she bowled 9 games every day.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And she's got some work to do here to convert the 2-4-10. As we look back on the boys' match, Sullivan's got to convert a 3-6-10 and will do so. So Preston West has the early lead there. Barres misses them all, and it's 7 out. Sedetol gets that one wide. That's not going to come back there. And leaves the 1-2-4. So Yochis with the early edge. And West with the early edge as he converts the 7-pin. You can see the scores at the top of your screen there. Now we have a moment. Tell you that today's coverage on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by the Lamarck Motor Company in Kenner. Lamarck Quick Lane services all makes and models, batteries, tires, oil changes, and more. All done quickly while you enjoy some popcorn. Must be a reason. Yochis starting with 3 consecutive strikes. She's got now a 20-pin lead over both of her competitors. West over on lane 16 has now left 3 7-pins in 4 frames. Talk about his carry power. Put the kiss of death on that, I guess.
Might have to make a small adjustment, but not much.
And in the channel trying to convert the 7-pin, and that kind of opens the door in that match at this point. Barra's left the 10-pin over on the girls' match, and she converts. So we mentioned 4 of the top 6 girls' averages from the season. There were 6 bowlers who averaged 190. 4 of them made the stepladder finals here. West is the only one in the top 10 on the boys' side to make the finals. And a break there as Senetal crosses over and gets the strike to stay within 20 in that girls' opening match. And a conversion, as you see there, by Sullivan on lane 16. So that match is pretty tight right now all the way across the board. Metzger from Airline in the light blue top shirt has the early lead here, and by 1 pin. Yochis now stretches out the lead in her match, up by 30. West gets back on it. A strike for Barres in the 4th. And right now, Metzger with an 11-pin lead as we hit the halfway point on the boys' side. Senetal will come up here in the 4th, looking to stay within 20 with a strike. Just gets the 7 to fall. Wow. Thoughts on what you're seeing thus far in terms of how these players are performing in a different environment, really?
It is, and their fundamentals are really good. You sit there and look at them and watch, and you can tell they put a lot of time into their game.
As you get a look at Metzger trying to convert the 9-pin. Let's switch over to the girls' action here as Yochis going for 5 in a row. Got it. 5 straight strikes to start this match for Ashton Yochis. And just got in. She was the number 6 seed. She just got in on the number. And a shout out, by the way, to the 7th place finisher on the girls' side, who did a tremendous job to put herself in the mix from a first-year program in De La Salle. Amelia Haynes had a solid day, 201, 192, 177 for a 570 series, a 190 average, well above her season average, and just missed this stepladder by 2 pins. Barra's second consecutive 10-pin on that lane and converts. So getting interesting now on the boys' side is Sullivan strikes again to stay within 5 pins of West. Meanwhile, Metzger is 10 pins behind. So as they head to the 8th frame, it's pretty tight. Stay with this one for a moment as here's West going for 4 in a row, and he's got it to keep the lead. Metzger carries the wall shot, and he stays within 10. Sullivan needs this to stay within 5, and he's got it. They're starting to string some strikes on the boys' match here.
Might have been a little nervous in the very beginning, but they're settled down.
Yeah. West has a possible 248. Sullivan a possible 243, and Metzger a possible 238. Our first open frame for Senetal, who can't convert. And it's a big lead for Yochis as West carries again, and he's going to continue to apply the pressure. Yochis leaves the 10-pin, as you see on the left side of your screen there, to end that string at 5 in a row. West with 2 strikes. West with 2 strikes can clinch the match. He gets the first one. Metzger with the 2-8. Need to convert that to get one more shot to finish out his day. Senetal strikes in the 6th, and West can close it out right there. Basically now needs to stay behind the foul line.
That's it.
6 pins will clinch the match. looking at the very good possibility at this point that both 6 seeds advance out of the first match.
Yeah.
And look, that's based on their resumes. It's not surprising, although Ochsner just had one get away and threw it in the gutter. West, Stone 9. That's the place to leave that.
Yep.
247 for Preston West. Meanwhile, Metzger will finish with 191. Sullivan will have a chance to finish out with a 243, but it won't be enough.
That's tough. That's a great game.
Ochsner comes back and converts the spare after throwing it in the channel. That's big in this game. She lost 10 pins of her lead there, but it could have been a lot worse. Failure to make the spare would have been another 10 pins gone.
Yep.
So now Barres has got some work to do to cut into this lead, though. Strike here could start the process, and she's got it.
That was a good shot.
She trails by 35. Sullivan's final shot will go through the face at 3.67.10. He will finish with a 239. So that's settled on the boys' side. Preston West moves on. We'll take a look at the girls' side at this point. As their pace is a little bit slower because they elected to have all 3 bowlers on the same lane. Setital with a double now closes within 23 of Ochsner, who will work on a spare. So when we come back, it will be West against Riley Elwood and John Cador in our second match on the boys' side, as Ochsner gets back on a strike, maintain her lead. But her 2 competitors, both working on doubles, have a chance to cut into the lead right here. Barres can't get it to react, but gets a huge break.
Wow.
Takes out the 1-2-4.
Wow.
And it's down to 25, the margin for Olivia at this point. Setital with a strike and cut it to 13 right here. That's going to hurry, and the wall shot goes. The 5 takes out the 4. The head pin took out the 7, and it's gotten a little tighter now. See all the X's at the top of your screen right now. Ochsner leading Setital by 13 pins and Barres by 25 as we go to the 9th frame.
You got to be thinking strikes right now.
Absolutely. This is a huge shot in this match. And that's right there.
Wow.
We've seen that time and time again over the last 3 years. Yeah. Dutchtown's program reached the semifinals in 2021, reached the semifinals in 2022, finally broke through and got to the championship match this year. And look, they were the dominant team in Louisiana, really boys or girls. I mean, they dominated across the board. A break for Barres again as she carries the Brooklyn and keeps herself in the match. She's only 25 pins down. Setital needs a similar result here to try to stay in it. A strike would make it a 13, or keep it at a 13-pin match. Ochsner a possible 259, Barres a possible 234, Setital a possible 246. So some great scores in this girls' opening match. Setital can't get that back up, leaves the 2-4-5-8. Bowling parlance, the bucket. Still not out of it. She's got to convert the spare, though. So Ochsner will get up here first in the 10th frame. She needs really a strike to close this out, or a mark and great count. Setitol can't convert. That's going to take her out of the run. Yeah. So basically a two-player match here. Ochsner, a strike would win it. Otherwise, it takes a mark. And total of 16 pins a count. The wall shot leaves the 4-5. All right, so 197 in the 8th. If she converts this, then she needs 8 on the fill ball to shut out Barres. If not, the door is open for Olivia to kind of come in the back door and steal this match.
Yep. Spare here, strike.
Spare strike, it's over. Yeah,
yep.
it's spare 8. Spare 8 would end it. Barres, if she strikes out, could shoot 234.
You got to get the spare first.
Yep. And this is not a given, obviously. You got to put the ball right between the 4 and the 5. And just takes out the 5. So it's 225 for Ochsner. So here's the situation. Barres needs 2 strikes and to stay behind the foul line to win. Anything less, and Ochsner advances. That's wide, and that will do it. Ashton Ochsner, the 6th seed, will advance on to the next round. Ochsner and Setitol, both seniors. Barres is just a sophomore, so she's got 2 more years. And arguably, well, you got Jordan Wingirter in that mix certainly, but she's in the mix of the top returning bowlers, not just in New Orleans but in Louisiana, and will be a contender to get into this step ladder and make a deep run for a couple of more years.
I think we'll see her here a lot for the next 2 years.
Yeah, she'll finish with a 209. Setitol will finish out here. Chance for 210 with 3 strikes. All right, so again, coming up next, the 2 Dutchtown bowlers that were the number 6 seeds, both advancing here. Preston West on the boys' side will advance against Riley Elwood of Archbishop Shaw and John Cater of Woodlawn of Baton Rouge. And Ashton Ochsner will advance to bowl against Paris Mendonis of Airline and Addison Lejeune, her teammate from Dutchtown. And no carry there. So one final shot for a 200. Credit to these girls. Again, this first time format, they all come out and shoot 200 in their opening game.
All very good bowlers.
And spare for a 200 even. For Audrey Setitol. Competitors offering congratulations, and we are set to move on to match number 2. But before we do, we want to tell you that today's coverage on Crescent City Sports is brought to you by the Greater New Orleans USBC, serving men, women, and youth bowlers in the New Orleans area. This year's city tournament will be held on May 20th and 21st at All-Star Lanes in Kenner, AMF All-Star Lanes in Kenner. And check the website, usbc.org or their Facebook page for the latest information. Come out, support your local association, and have fun doing it. Our thanks to President Claude Mayer and the entire board for their support of high school bowling. And Todd, I know you're a part of that board, and you, I know obviously in your role, you value the importance of developing the youth bowlers in our area because they're going to be the next generation of adult bowlers in our area.
Yes, and that's one of the things we're trying to do, come up with new ways to train, get the youth bowlers more involved, get better at it, and we'll continue to keep working at that.
All right, so we get ready for match number 2. The next bowlers will come in.
Boys, we had from Airline, Bryson Metzger at a 191. Landon Sullivan from Alexandria had a 239.
The new bowlers moving their way in, and we're going to see some outstanding bowling here. Paris Mendonis, I've had a chance to watch her for many years now, and of course she's out of the Shreveport area bowling at Airline. Her family's traveled quite a few places around the country. She's headed to Savannah College of Art and Design, where she's going to get a chance to bowl there, as well as continue her academics. And like I said, she gets down. She will come down to South Louisiana to compete in tournaments that are 4 or 5 hours away if she wants to take on the best competition, and has certainly done very well given those opportunities. And I really like her game, and I think it certainly translates well to the college level, as we will get a chance to see. And also, again, you're going to see a little contrast here. So you see a couple of seniors who both have signed with colleges, as Yochis, we mentioned, headed to Nebraska. And then you have Addison Lejeune, who's a freshman at Dutchtown. She's part of that next generation, if you will, who's got 3 more years to compete here. So that will be certainly interesting to watch. Now, West is going to take on Riley Elwood, along with John Cador in the match, the boys' match, as we have one more match to get set for our finals. Waiting in the wings, it's Sydney Lee, the sophomore from Dutchtown, who is the #1 seed on the girls' side. And on the boys' side, Jonathan Arena of Archbishop Shaw, who is the #1 seed. Arena shot 730 this morning, and Lee shot 665. So we get set here. I don't know if we're going to have practice balls on these lanes for the new competitors, or we'll find that out. Hopefully they're going to adjust here and put two bowlers on one lane and one on the other, because obviously the boys' match finished a good 3 frames before the girls. We'll see if there's adjustments made accordingly there. The sound you hear off in the distance are our 2 leaders getting in some practice shots as they wait for their championship matches. We'll have girls first and then boys when we get to that point. So we continue to wait here for match number 2 to get underway. Let's tell you about how we got to this point. We touched on it briefly earlier, but how did we get here? We started the day with actually a little more than 128 bowlers, because ties were included in those averages. When you're calculating averages in bowling, you really don't get into tenths and hundredths of pins and things like that. You treat 199.9 the same as 199.0. It's all the same. So we included ties in there, but the top 80 boys and 48 girls qualified. They bowled 3 qualifying games earlier today. We cut the field to 6 that then advanced to these finals that we're showing you now, this modified stepladder format. We started out with 4, 5, and 6 bowling each other. Then the advancer from that match is getting ready to bowl against the number 2 and 3 seeds, with the survivor there then taking on the number 1 seed. You talked at the outset about how this is something that's been a long time coming, to have this finals type of format in here. Now, is there something, when they give you the keys to thing that maybe you would change?
Well, I definitely like this format for sure compared to last year, but I'd like to see even during the season where we go to some sort of Baker-style matches as opposed to head-to-head. We had a tournament here in February, and it was a lot of fun. Everybody got involved, and there's been talk about possibly doing that in the future. So as the coaches get with the LHSAA and come up with some new decisions, new ideas, hopefully we can incorporate some of that.
Absolutely. You and I had that discussion during the Baker event. It certainly is certainly something worth considering.
The lanes are set up to where each bowler will go and get to bowl 2 shots on each lane. However you want to do it, but the things are set up for 2 shots on each lane.
Okay, so we will have some practice before this gets underway. Each bowler will get 2 shots on each lane.
So we'll go ahead now and let's take our practice shots.
All right, so 2 shots on each lane for each of the bowlers. And that will apparently include the winners as well, because that's always something. That's one thing that's in the stepladder format. There's a lot of different ways to do it. And that's one of the things evolved over time, is exactly what is the right scenario for practice. Is it, is it the bowler who advanced? If you want to throw practice shots, you got to go over on another lane and do it. Is it you do get practice shots, but you get less than the person coming on? There's always something.
Yeah, you have to be able to read the lanes real quick. That's for sure. No,
exactly. And I've seen situations where there is no practice when you get to the stepladder, not even for the first match. So, it's everything's a little bit different. So.
Well,
Practice going on here for match number 2, which again, 3 bowlers in each match, boys and girls. The advancer from these 2 matches will get to our championship match against our leaders from qualifying this morning.
Sitting here watching Wes, and he's experimenting with different balls right now and warming up.
Yeah, and I think what he's doing, getting the chance, where he can get himself in trouble, is shooting a 7-pin. And that's what he's doing. He's taking his first shot on both lanes and shooting a 7-pin with it, and then coming back and trying to throw a strike shot. And that's, like, I always, and I know you preach that hard with your team, is spare shooting. You don't get a lot of opportunities sometimes, but you got to be able to go out there and know how not how lanes are going to react for your strike shots, but how they're going to react for your spare shots.
Well, I believe he missed the 7-pin in his first match.
He did. And then came back and threw 7 consecutive strikes after that. So quickly got himself out of trouble. It was a very tight match, and then all of a sudden started stringing strikes, and needed every one of them too, because he only won the match by 8 pins. So we will see. We're going to get our first look of the afternoon at John Cador, as he was kind of in the mix of a bunch of people there, and then all of a sudden, after a spare in the first frame of the 3rd game, he strung 11 consecutive strikes and made a big jump all the way up the leaderboard into 3rd place. He finished with a 705 series after he had a 211 and 204 for his first 2 games. Elwood had games of 228, 242, 259 for a 729 series. And again, his teammate Jonathan Arena struck out in the 10th frame to beat him by 1 pin to earn the leader spot.
It's funny, I think if you look at some of the 3rd games of each one of these bowlers, and they were all the highest ones.
Yeah, the only one, Preston West, went about it differently. He got off to a great start, shot 277 the first game, and then shot 215, 203 for 695, and just got in. Beat some kid named Jacob Van Gilder for the 6th spot there. Shot 692. 234, 225, 233 for Jacob. Misses the step ladder by 3 pins. Last year missed the medal stand by 2 pins. So
he'll be back next year.
He's got 1 more year.
He's going to be back next year.
1 more year. Preston's got 1 more year. You got a lot of youth on the other side of things. You look at Shaw, and they did have some seniors. And in fact, Shaw was the only team. They've got 1 and 2. They were the only team to qualify 6 bowlers in singles on the boys' side. Your team got in 5 this year.
Correct.
But you know, Shaw's got some seniors, but their top 2 there, Arena and Elwood, are sophomore to junior.
Here, one of the 3 that doesn't advance is the bronze medalist at this point here, and then the person who comes out basically last. It was a great tournament for you. So we'll go ahead now and start our competition.
As we get to the medals, Rick Bourgeois, our tournament director, making sure I know whoever finishes second in this match, there's something to play for all the way down. Whoever finishes second in the match will be the bronze medalist, the 3rd place finisher. All right, so here we go. Boys getting underway first, and West starting with a strike on lane 16. Our first look at Riley Elwood. And I tell you, Riley's game made an enormous jump this year, and big win for him down in Houma in January, winning the U18 division of the Louisiana Grand Prix tournament. He starts with a strike. There's a lot of people from the West Bank here, if you can't hear that behind us.
A lot of fans.
Yeah. Wait a minute, Mendonis is starting on the right lane, which is not how it's set up here. And I don't know if they're going to have to fix that or not, but she bowled on the wrong lane. So they're going to have to correct that. She was scheduled to start on lane 11. She bowled on lane 12. So we'll get back to the boys for a minute as Kador converts his spare. West has started with a double. Somebody's got to come in here and clear the scores and resolve this. All right, so I think maybe the information in the score was put in wrong. Paris thought she was starting the match on lane 12. Kador with the strike, so they continue to fill boxes in this boys semifinal match. Elwood gets a double, so a double for West, a double for Elwood, strike spare for Kador to get things started. Now West for 3 in a row as they settle the issue over on 11 and 12 here. And West trying to get the Dutchtown faithful to make a little more noise.
3 quality shots right there.
No, he's been flush in the pocket here. So they're gonna have to clear it, and now they're gonna restart the match. So Mendonis' shot from on the wrong lane does not count, and I believe that's the rule. And that was wide by Elwood, leaving the 1-2-4-8. A lot of wood to cover here. How do you want to make this, Todd?
Well, normally what I do, I just move my feet right a little bit, 3 boards most, and just throw your strike shot. The ball go right across the head pin.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
So we're underway now in the girls' matches. Mendonis gets on the right lane, or the correct lane, I should say, the left lane, and opens with a strike. Now, Ashton Yochis, who advanced out of the first match, will get things started. Elwood covers them all, and that's in my mind, that's the important thing, and I see too much of that at this level when trying to shoot spares. You want to cover everything with the bowling ball as much as possible. West is up there quickly, and he's got 4 in a row.
He makes it look easy.
Yes, he does. He's got a 10-pin lead, or actually a 20-pin lead over Kador, a 24-pin lead over Elwood at this point. Now our first look over on lanes 11 and 12 at Addison Lejeune. Also from Dutchtown, breaks up the split and leaves a 4-7. Elwood with a strike. Kador leaves a 10-pin. So West lead gets extended a bit here now. It's still 24. Over Elwood, it's going to be 21 over Kador with the conversion. And now Preston for 5 in a row, 10 in a pit. And Lejeune cannot convert the spare, and so she starts with 9 out. Now Ochsner in the second frame looking to double up and leaves a 10-pin. So an opportunity here for Paris Mendones to take the early lead in the match. We'll look back in on the girls, and Kador trips a 4-pin. Right now, the lead is 31 for West over Kador. Elwood needs a strike here to keep it at 24 in his side of things, and that's through the nose for a 3-6-10. You see that more times than you could probably count, Todd. You make a shot and it misses right, and you overreact, overadjust, and the next shot goes through the face.
Not an easy spare to pick up.
No, a lot to cover there, 3-6-10, and he does. So a couple of good spare conversions here, difficult conversions for Elwood. And over on lane 12, you saw Mendones get the wall shot, and she takes a 10-pin lead over Ochsner. Now West. Got it, 6 in a row.
And they all look the same.
everything is 10 in the pit. It is solid. Preston, talking to him beforehand, he said, how many 300s you have? Now, he finally bowled one in varsity competition right near the end of the season. In fact, I would say it was in February, I believe, and there were the only 2 in Louisiana this year. Both happened on the same day in 2 different cities. Preston West bowled his, I believe, was here at All-Star Lanes, and Ryan Hicks of Holy Savior Menard bowled one on the same day up in Alexandria. And it's the only 2 we saw this year. We have seen, obviously, this part of the event has not taken place, but we have seen 300 games in the postseason before. Most recently, this was Cody Schaefer shot one from Brother Martin in 2018 in regional play. There was one in the finals going all the way back to 2010. James Smithers competing for Barb. Barb was one of the original powers. West trying to get to 7 in a row. Knocks the 6-pin down, but the 10 standing. That was almost a fast 8, but only leaves the 10-pin, so 300 watches off.
Yeah, I think you're going to start seeing more and more 300s.
I think so. And look, although scoring this year on the boys' side in Louisiana was down. From a team perspective, you only had 3 schools shoot 3-game series of 3,600 this year. You only had 17 bowlers averaged 200 or higher this year, which is down from 27 a year ago. And as much as anything else, I think that was just cyclical. I think you just had a lot of seniors that graduated a year ago and not that many returnees. You had some jump up, make big jumps this year, like you're looking at Riley Elwood right now. He was one, and that got a little wide. He's struggling with that left lane right now. Leaves the bucket to 2-4-5-8. Now Kador trying to stay in contact with West, 10 in the pit. And he is within 20. Meantime, Elwood trying not to lose contact at this point, but he's got to start stringing some strikes.
He needs
like he did in qualifying. Will convert the bucket there. He could strike out for 229, so he's not out of it, but he's going to need a little help from his competitors.
He's definitely going to need help. The way West is bowling right now.
Yeah. Well, West on a 249 pace, if he just goes out strike, spare. 7-pin. What happens there? That was kind of a flat 7. Why does something like that happen?
Looked like he may have got it out just a little bit too much, and it just ball's energy burnt up a little bit. Just no energy.
You see over in the girls match there, a conversion for Lejeune after a couple of opens to start. Mendones with the lead there. West will convert the 7-pin. Ochsner will, you see there, will get up and try to make the 6-10 here and stay within 20 pins of Mendones. And she does. Elwood delivers right there, 10 in the pit. Like I said, he's pretty much got no margin for error at this point. That is wide by Kador. He'll leave the 1-2-8. Still working at 226 pace. You see Mendones trip the 10-pin and maintain that 20-pin lead here in the 4th. Lejeune is wide, leaves the 2-pin. You see off in the top corner of your screen, you see the action as West, it's a late trip of the 7-pin. See, maintains the lead in his match right now. He is in a situation now, let's see, you look at possibles here. Elwood's got a possible 229 game as he comes up in the 9th frame. And Kador has a possible 246 game. Meanwhile, if West goes spare strike in the 10th, he's at 248.
Yep.
So he's in position to close out without doing much. Certainly a strike on the first ball in the 10th would do it. And may not need that. Kador catches a break there, crosses over, stay in this match. Elwood's window. Again, we talk about, you know, second place in the match matters in terms of the medals here. So Elwood, even though he might basically be out of it, as West can close out Elwood here basically by just staying behind the foul line with 6 pins. But you still got second place in play right here, or second place in this match, which becomes third place in the bronze medal. Now West, that will pretty much do it right there for him to move on. Just really needs to stay behind the line to close out Kador. We'll stay right here and see if he does.
Yeah, he's already in the 230s in the 9th frame.
Yep. Chance to strike out for 268. That'll do it. So Preston West came in, qualified on the number, the 6th seed in this bracket, and he's going on to the championship match where he is going to face Jonathan Arena of Archbishop Shaw. West, 268, 10 strikes, 6 in a row to start, 4 in a row to finish. Now the question becomes, in this boys match, let's stay with it here if we can, who will walk away with the bronze medal? Kador basically can clinch it with a strike and some pin count. And that's right there, and he trips the 10-pin. So a good count here, 7 on the first ball, would clinch third place. And now it doesn't matter because Elwood left the 10-pin. So we know that John Kador of Woodlawn will win the bronze medal, and Preston West will move on. So let's switch over to the girls match, which we had the little bit of a scoring delay at the outset, which set us behind. As you see, Paris Mendona's coming up on lane 12 to shoot the 1-2-8 to maintain a 28-pin lead over Ashton Yochis. You see the scores at the top of your screen. Addison Lejeune's got some work to do to come back. Started out open, but she's been clean ever since. And Mendonis covers them all with the ball, and maintains that lead of 28 pins over Yochis. She's had a pair of doubles. Kador will finish with 245. Elwood will have a chance to strike for 206. They'll finish with 206. So West will move on to face Arena in the championship match. Yochis leaves a 10-pin. So we've got one Dutchtown bowler in the boys final. Question is, will we have 1 or 2 Dutchtown bowlers in the girls final? Sydney Lee is getting in her warm-up shots. Over to our left as she gets ready for the championship match. Yoch is still 28 pins behind.
So we'll have to put some strikes together.
No doubt. No doubt. Or get some help. Or both. Mendonis right down the boards. I said it at the outset, Todd. I like her game. I mean, I think it translates very well to what you see at the college level. You know, she's got the speed. She's got enough power. Yeah, I think it's the type of game that's going to be successful when she moves on.
Just watching her, I mean, she keeps everything simple.
Yeah, very quiet. And even with Yochis, as you watch her deliver a strike, one thing you're not going to see, her head, does not move off her target. A lot of times you will see bowlers at every level, from the top level down to the people just getting started. Your head is moving, and it makes it very difficult sometimes to keep your eye on your target and to accurately hit your target. And she is steady. Big shot here from Mendonis, who can stretch the lead to 38 pins here in the 8th frame. That's right there.
That was a great shot.
Yeah. And a strike for Lejeune, who is 13 pins behind her teammate Yochis at this point. And while she's 51 down and probably out of the running to move on, you talk about the bronze medals in play here as well. Yochis can strike out for 217. Meanwhile, Mendonis now at a 225 pace. So if she stays clean the rest of the way, she's going to be a winner. That's got work to do to get back, but she gets the carry off the wall that time, breaks up the 4-5-7. And this could put Mendonis in the 230s, and might be enough here that regardless of what happens in the 10th frame, a strike here might be enough to close this out with some good count in the 10th. Right there, but the 10 pin stands. Maybe just a little bit too much speed on that shot.
I think so.
Yeah.
Not much, though.
Not a lot, yeah. Just seemed a little bit faster than some of her other shots. 15.9 miles an hour, says our scoring unit. And Lejeune will lead the 6-10, and that won't completely take her out of the running for the bronze medal at this point. Still an outside chance, but she needs to convert the spare. A big conversion here for Mendonis, with a chance to at least be able to get up in the 10th frame and mark to close out the match. She's got it.
No problem with that spare.
Yeah. So Mendonis will get up in the 10th, and she will need a mark and good count, really 14 pins total of count to shut out Yochis. Well, Ashton will get up first. She needs all 3 strikes just to really, or certainly the first 2, to have a chance here.
217 possibility for her.
Yeah, and if you think, okay, if Mendonis would make a mistake and open in the 10th, she's still looking at something in the low 210s, even if that were to happen. And there's the first one. And Paris is going to wait and let her finish. Any possibility of winning, Ashton Yochis has to strike here. Right there. Can she carry the shot? No. And that will basically do it. Paris Mendonis basically just needs to stay behind the line here. It's going to be a 206 with a spare for Yochis, and Mendonis 184 in the 8th with a spare up in the 9th.
Yep.
That should do it, and it will, a strike. So Mendonis will move on to the championship match against another Dutchtown bowler, Sydney Lee. Yochis will finish with the bronze medal, and Lejeune will finish fourth. It's Mendonis with a chance to finish this out for 234, perhaps.
We said in the beginning we're going to see some high scores.
Yeah, we've seen them.
We've seen some high scores.
We have seen some high scores in both the boys and girls matches. So 2 more shots to be thrown in this girls' semifinal match. And Mendonis, who is set to move on, will strike for 234. Above her season average of 215. Take out 2 Dutchtown Griffins at the same time. Ashton Yochis and Addison Lejeune. She's still got 1 more to contend with, Sydney Lee, in the finals. So our final matches are set. It's going to be Mendonis against Lee on the girls' side. It's going to be West against Arena on the boys' side. We're going to take a quick break right here, and we're going to come back and get ready for our 2 final matches. Girls will be first, followed by the boys right here on Crescent City Sports.
hit the check marks on the scoring monitor.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, so we get set for the girls' final now. It will be Paris Mendonis of Airline against Sydney Lee of Dutchtown. Mendonis, the senior, Lee, the sophomore. They moving to a new pair of lanes here, so they're going to give them each 5 minutes to practice. Yeah, we mentioned Dutchtown with all 10 of their bowlers qualifying, and Karen Beam, Corey Leday running that Dutchtown program. I mean, you think about it. You're a coach, okay? And Rick Bourgeois has explained the math a couple of times here this week, okay? You bowl 18 games in a match, six bowlers bowling 3 games. You bowl 12 matches in a season. That's 216 games. And you need to have 21 games to be eligible for the singles championship. So that doesn't leave you, not only does that leave you much room, but look, you've got to credit all of these girls from Dutchtown because, one, obviously they were all good enough to be able to make it, but you needed a buy-in from your entire team to say, you know what, there's going to be matches you're not going to bowl. There's going to be games you're not going to bowl because we're going to go about doing this. That's clearly something that has to be decided on at a very early point to be able to do that.
I think that's what makes this Dutchtown team so special, is because of that. They all understood in the beginning of the season that they probably wouldn't be able to be bowling every single game. Mm-hmm. The coaching staff over there has been great.
Yeah, they've had chances. Obviously, you see with the talent they've got on the boys' side with Preston West and Ryan Beam, who finished 1-2 in the state in average this year, and they've had. Yeah, they've made some runs in the playoffs. Have not gotten to the Final Four yet on the boys' side. Have gotten close. Got to the quarterfinals this year. They lost to East Ascension down at AMF in Kenner in the regional there. So, and then of course on the girls' side, we mentioned they were semifinalists in 21, semifinalists in 22. Finally breaking through yesterday, winning that semifinal match. And I think at that point, once they won the semifinal match over Chappelle, it's not to take anything away from the other 2 semifinalists, Denham Springs and H.L. Bourgeois, but that might have been the championship match in reality. I mean, Chappelle and Dutchtown bowled twice this year. Chappelle took 16 points off of them, and I think the item that I had in my story last night at Crescent City Sports, the other 14 opponents that Dutchtown bowled this year on the girls' side took a total of 21 points off of them.
Yeah, wow.
That just goes to show you the dominance that they have, and it's getting up in in reality, probably every match they bowled this year, by the 3rd game, it really wasn't much of a match. But the Chappelle match in the regular season was 12-4, and I think yesterday was 13-3. It wasn't mathematically clinched, but it was, in very good position at that point.
Well, a lot of these bowlers, they bowl in some difficult conditions on junior gold.
No doubt.
And that helps them here in situations like this.
And both, a lot of the girls bowled in the Storm Youth Championships here in this house. That's 2 weekends ago. 15 games across 3 sports shot conditions, and I mean it's different than a house shot, obviously, but it certainly tests you in terms of how you're going to compete when you get to this. But the reason I bring that up is the girls didn't have to bowl their early round team matches until a week ago Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So they had some, if you want to call it recovery time or whatever, after bowling a grind of 15 games in 2 days, they had a couple of days off before they came back out on Wednesday and bowled. On the boys' side, it was a little bit more of a challenge. Now, some took it on, and I tip of the hat to them, but the first 3 rounds of the playoffs were Monday and Tuesday after that. And you didn't know when you placed your entry, okay, am I going to be bowling on Monday in the state playoffs, or am I going to be bowling on Tuesday? So it was possible you'd grind out 15 games on tough conditions and have to turn around and maybe bowl 9 games of playoff action the next day.
Yeah.
So you understand, Sydney Lee is the #1 seed.
Yeah, it definitely takes a toll on you physically, but also mentally too, being prepared.
So consequently, Ms. Mendoza will throw the first frame, and then Sydney will bowl frames 1 and 2, and then each of them will bowl 2 frames. So that
We're just about set to begin here. A couple of final announcements. They'll need to hit the start play button on the monitor there so we can get underway.
So good luck, good bowling, and that's all you've been doing all day. Congratulations, ladies.
Somebody needs to hit the start button up there, and they will. Okay, okay, there we go. So here we go with Mendoza, the #2 seed who advanced out of the semifinal match. 6:39 in the qualifying. Leaves a ringing 10-pin. She made a ball change.
I was just noticing that too. She sure did.
Yeah, of course, obviously, you're on a different pair of lanes that is now fresh oil as opposed to when Paris came in the second game after at least 3 games had been bowled on the pair you were on. So this is a little bit different. But understandable.
Well, during practice, she was leaving 10 pins, and I think that's what prompted her to maybe make a change.
Now for the conversion, and she'll take care of it. Now we get our first look at Sydney Lee, the Dutchtown sophomore, the left-hander. Solid in qualifying, 665 to lead the field by 26 pins. Games of 213, 259, and 193. Put up that big second game, put her in great shape. Mendoza in qualifying, 236, 177, and 226. Lee's right there. Let me tell you, I obviously got a chance to watch a lot of her yesterday in the finals, the team finals, and just everything she throws is right in the 1-2 pocket.
She's got a solid game too. Both Dutchtown finalists, left-handers.
For a double in the early lead. She got it. So Lee takes the early 10-pin lead over Mendoza here. Good shot by Mendoza. Blows out the 5, takes out the 7, and she keeps this at a 10-pin match through 2 frames. Todd, what do you, when it comes to ball changes, do you leave that to the discretion of your bowlers sometimes? Is it something that you tend to suggest, or you all collaborate on those decisions?
We definitely talk about it together, because sometimes they might not feel comfortable with the ball that I would suggest, and then we make a decision off that.
Right. Double for Mendoza brings this match back to even, as Lee will come up in the 3rd. Our first ever stepladder format final here in the LHSAA Bowling Singles Championship. Lee for 3 in a row. She's got it. right there with everything.
Both of them are right in the pocket.
Yeah. You know, one thing that's, we talk about the evolution of this, of the singles championship. It wasn't that long ago that singles wasn't considered a separate event. It was tied into the team championship, which
That's right.
Which was maybe a little bit unfair to those who were competing in the team championship, as Lee right there, 4 in a row and a 20-pin lead. What a start. What a start for this match. We've seen 7 balls flush in the pocket. Mendonis' first shot left a 10-pin, and other than that, it's been all strikes.
And with this format, this is what makes it so exciting.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing about it is you didn't know what was going on in other places. You just go bowl your score and see what happens.
Exactly.
Mendonis, oh, what a tough break, a stone 9-pin. Why does that happen?
You come in with the head pin just a little bit too high, and the ball drops past the 9-pin. Just a little bit.
Chops off the 5 and doesn't. Sometimes the ball will deflect and take out the 9,
Correct.
and obviously the ball doesn't hit it there. So needs the spare to keep this at a 21-pin match through 4 frames. Mendonis a little high there, but that time gets the carry and keeps this at a 21-pin match. Now Lee back up in the 5th, working on 4 straight strikes to start the match. Right over the second arrow, flush in the pocket, and that's 5 in a row, and a 31-pin lead.
Five great shots.
For 6 in a row. Got it. How about this kind of performance in this setting? Wow.
I would be nervous.
And look, this match is not over by any means. Even though Paris Mendonis at the moment trailing by 41 pins. Cannot get the 10-pin to fall.
Every one of our shots are in the pocket. It's just a matter of does she carry.
Keep this right where it is at a 41-pin match through 6 frames. And Paris Mendonis has done nothing wrong, Todd. 6 balls in the pocket. She's left 2 10-pins and a 9-pin. Yeah. 6 seniors on the Dutchtown team. Lee is one of the 4 returnees for next year. All of course were in action today. That's a half 10. You see that one just hit a little bit differently in the pocket, and the 6-pin just laid in the gutter and did not take out the 10.
Yeah, I think our bowling ball's burning up a little bit too early. If you watch the ball go through the pins, it deflects too much to the right, which will give you flat 10s.
She converts this spare. She's still got a possible 238. And she does. So now the story of the moment is Sydney Lee. For 7 in a row, she got it.
Good shot.
That looked about a board or two wider than the shot she had thrown on that lane previously.
Yeah, you can see the ball just finishes beautifully in the back.
Powerfully, yep.
She's using a pearl ball, and it's storing its energy and it's driving through the pins beautifully.
For 8 in a row, through the face and left the 4-7. A big round of applause, not just from the Dutchtown faithful, but from everybody behind us watching, and a great crowd it is. Now you got to settle down. Look, you got to make the spare. This match is not in the bag by any means. That can be the hardest thing to do sometimes after you string strikes, is to regain focus.
This is our first spare shot.
And she's got it. So she's in position right now that with count that really she only needs 1 mark to win the match. She's at 198 in the 7th and a spare in the 8th. And Paris Mendona's max score at this point, if she throws the last 5 strikes, is 238.
38, that's right.
I'm sure, like you tell your bowlers, as long as there's a mathematical way to do it, you got to keep trying to do it. Mendona's 10 in the pit right there. That may be the best shot she's thrown all game.
That was a really good shot.
Like maybe her ball speed was a little bit softer there. Or certainly she took a little bit different angle and really powered through the pocket. Needs this one to stay alive. 10 pin. And all you can do if you're Paris is shake your head at this point. Again, she's done nothing wrong. She's thrown 9 balls right there. She's only got 4 strikes to show for it.
Yeah, I mean, stone 9-pin and a lot of 10 pins.
Yep.
All in the pocket.
Yep. Some days it's your day, and some days it's not when it comes to that part of it. So Mendonis will convert, and that's one thing. She's made all her spares. So basically at this point, Sydney Lee just needs to stay behind the foul line, and she will be the LHSAA singles champion for the girls. And I don't think there's been, I don't know, I think there have been some doubles on the girls' side. I think Erin Burkhart won singles the same year that the Academy of Our Lady won the team championship.
Yep, that was a few years back.
Yep. And there's a strike, and that will do it. Sydney Lee, and she's doing it in style. A chance to strike out for 278. Look, that's after averaging almost 222 in qualifying. So she has been outstanding here today. 190 average in the regular season. That goes high and leaves a 4-7, but again, just a matter of what the final score is going to be at this point. Now the question becomes, can it be a Dutchtown sweep? You mentioned it earlier. 2 Dutchtown left-handers. You got Preston West off to our right, looking to do the Dutchtown double. He's going to have to take out Jonathan Arena, the sophomore at Archbishop Shaw. So a strike would be 258 for Lee. And there it is. And a lot of relief. You see again that final shot.
258 to win a state championship.
No, that's outstanding. And Mendones will finish it out. Potential 218 here. Go at 234, I believe, in the opening round. Again, she's got nothing to be ashamed of with her performance at all. She didn't lose this today. Sydney Lee went out and won it. Paris Mendones has thrown every ball in the pocket. Just doesn't have the strikes to show for it. One more strike for 218. And what would be a second place finish. And 10 pin for 217.
All right, just Mendones.
A hug from Dad.
It's easy to see why you have the highest average. You hit the pocket every time, and you may be a runner-up.
Applause for both of these bowlers.
Start out with 7 in a row.
Deservedly so. Sydney Lee wins the girls' state championship over Paris Mendones, 258 to 217.
And we'll get the boys' names in. We're going to do the boys' final.
Now, get ready for practice for our boys' championship match. It's going to be Preston West of Dutchtown against Jonathan Arena of Archbishop Shaw for the boys' singles title. West has run this stepladder as the number 6 seed, won 2 matches. Yeah. Definite contrast in this match. You got a left-hander against a right-hander, a two-hander against a one-hander. So Lane's now on for practice. Our 2 competitors will get in their practice shots before our boys championship match that will finish up this inaugural singles final.
Yeah, go ahead and practice.
So, now that we're 3/4 of the way through, your thoughts on what we've seen, both how this has played out and the performances we've seen thus far.
Well, I definitely like the way things have gone. I think it's been very good. I'm glad we did it this year. As far as the bowling's concerned, it has been phenomenal to watch these young athletes bowl as well as they have. I mean, it is just amazing.
And look, you get the opportunity, I understand, to bowl in junior tournaments and in, now all of a sudden, though, where it's just 2 people in the lane in the, well, at least this section of the house, okay, that you've got all of these people watching. You got the cameras rolling. You've got all of that going on, and not just you representing yourself, but you're representing your school, which is a little bit different situation as well.
And this is the first time that they're experiencing this, so it's kind of
and they're handling it like professionals.
Yes.
Okay, it's So it looks like Jonathan Arena is the #1 seed, got the choice. It looks like he's electing to start first and to finish last in this match. And yeah, I mean, you could see when he got him. I'm not sure he knew the scoring situation when he did get up in the qualifying, whether he knew he needed 3 strikes to win by a pin, but got up and threw them anyway to be the leader in this situation.
Well,
but obviously he's shown he can handle it for sure.
Yeah, well, I think he knew that he had to strike out to beat his teammate.
Yeah,
and it would put him in the.
You were right there next to him. You saw you saw just how he and Riley Elwood put up scores, and obviously you've seen him over the course of this season and beyond. I mean, Jonathan's a young man who's obviously got a great future in this game, and and so does Preston for that matter. We don't want to certainly slight him. Of course, he's climbed his way up the ladder to get to this point, and we've talked extensively about him. But it's I mean, of the youth bowlers that you see come through our state, I mean, these are certainly two of the ones who have a chance to really go places. Once they graduate from high school.
Well, there'll be a place for them. If they want to go bowl, there'll be a place for them.
Yeah, and we should mention, look, boys bowling, girls bowling, a little bit different in that regard. There are fewer opportunities on the boys' side because girls bowling or women's bowling is an NCAA sport, and you've got probably 90, 100 schools participating in NCAA bowling. You've got a number of other schools on both boys or men's and women's side who compete in USBC or maybe at the NAIA level or the junior college level, whatever the case may be. But in terms, where the recognition obviously comes in at the NCAA level, and that's, that is limited right now on the women's side. It was added really in, as part of Title IX. So that gets the most attention. And, we talked about, Ashton Yochis heading to Nebraska now. Paris Mendona's not going to an NCAA program in Savannah College of Art and Design. That's I believe a USBC program, and it's the rule. They operate with a little bit different set of rules if you're, and obviously competing for different championships as well.
Right.
So, Weston Arena getting in their warm-up shots here. So we just about are set for this boys singles final, which will wrap up the LHSAA Bowling Championships.
Yeah, they didn't even use up all of their 5 minutes.
No, they're ready to go.
They're like, let's get it on.
Well, Preston's obviously bowled the first 2 matches, and Jonathan probably was throwing practice shots about the entirety of the first 2 games that were going on. All right, so here we go with our championship match. Arena will start it on lane 13. Jonathan on the season averaged 205, finished up in the number 6 spot in Shaw's lineup. The Eagles were a quarterfinalist and can't take out the 10 pin on the first shot. Yeah, we saw Elwood in the previous match. Elwood and Arena went back and forth probably the second half of the season between 5 and 6. And we talked about it more extensively during our team coverage yesterday, but the way you line up, you as a coach get to pick your bowlers, but you don't decide the order of how people are bowling. It's all decided by average. So who finishes with a higher average than another determines how those teams line up. Now West to get things started on lane 14. We'll start off with a strike. West needed a mark in the 10th frame to grab the 6th and final spot in the stepladder. You would have thought after that 277 first game, he was in comfortable position, but 203 and 215 the last 2 games. That is wide, and he'll leave the 6-9. Could have really been worse than that. And he's got himself a very makeable spare here to keep this an even match.
Looks like his timing was off just a little bit.
Ball speed was different too. You look at the see on the monitor. First frame, he threw it about 18.3 miles an hour. That one was just a little over 17. So yeah, all about got it a lot wider. So West will convert, and we're dead even here as Arena comes up in the second. Shaw, a team that got to the semifinals for the first time in 12 years. A year ago today, in fact, here at All-Star Lanes. Lost to Catholic High. That is way left, and Arena catches a break. He's got it out ahead of himself a little bit there and missed his target left, but good fortune is a good thing in this game. Shaw was the 5 seed in this year's bracket, and H.L. Bourgeois, we talked about yesterday, getting to the final on the boys' side. I mean, they made a real steamroller kind of run there. They took out Hammond, the 4 seed in the second round. They took out Shaw in their home center down at Creole Lanes at Homa last Monday in the quarterfinals, and then beat their rival Central Lafourche in the semifinals earlier yesterday to get to the final match. So they took out 3 of the top 5 seeds as the number 13 seed. Now Arena for the lead. That's a crossover, and again, we'll catch a break there, but he takes the lead just the same. Now West, right there. 10 in the pit. Accustomed to seeing that from West. He averaged 238 as a sophomore and 238 as a junior, although fractionally higher this year to break his own record. The records for high school bowling in not just Louisiana but every state are maintained by the U.S. High School Bowling Federation. They host the national championship each year in June. This year it'll be in Ohio. Louisiana had some representation there a year ago. Now West for the double. The messenger takes out the 7, and this match is even once again. Now let's see what kind of adjustment Arena makes here as he gets up in the 4th. Got a couple of breaks there on crossovers.
Going into
is it a target thing, or you think it's a mechanics thing at this point?
I think he'll start settling down a little bit.
Better shot. That's 10 in the pit. Regain the lead. Seemingly took his time a little bit more on that shot. And that's one of those things. Look, we talk about, he's been sitting around since 2.5 hours ago when qualifying finished, waiting for the opportunity to bowl this match. Take a 20-pin lead with one here, and he's got it. 4 in a row. That's one thing you've got to do when you take on Preston. You've got to apply pressure, because certainly he can apply it back at you in a big hurry.
He definitely can.
Slaps the 7. Cuts the margin in half. It's now a 10-pin match as we reach the midway point.
And I would expect this match to be like this.
Yeah.
Strike for strike.
No doubt. Only difference is where the non-strikes have come in. Arena missed in the first, made a spare. West missed in the second and made a spare. So Arena's able to string 4 in a row. West 3 in a row. Arena the 10-pin lead as we start the 6th. West can pull even right here, and he does. Great action here in this boys final. Would you expect anything different?
11 total shots, 9 strikes.
Yep. We've seen a lot of strikes, boys and girls, here today. Now Arena with a chance to regain the lead. Got it. 5 in a row.
Could we see a 290, 280?
Hey, I've seen, you know, certainly not at a high school level, seen that kind of thing, seen all kinds of crazy. You know, I guess the first time I really saw Preston in action and realized just how special it was he had a chance to bowl. He was still bowling U15 and bowled the championship match. I guess it was in Grand Prix down in, maybe, I don't think it was home, maybe it was here. And the match was 279 to 278. Man, you know, just to give you an idea, you knew right then you had something special. Now Arena for 6 in a row, blows the 5 out into the 7. Wow. 20-pin lead once again. How good is the bowling we're seeing here? Can West come back and deliver 2 more to even this match? He gets up in the 7th. Ten in a pit. Well, once again, West gets up on lane 13 with a chance to tie this match. You can see the scores at the top of your screen and a lot of blank numbers because of all of those X's. They've combined to throw 11 in a row. Got another one. Tie game once again.
This match is going by fast.
It is when they throw this many strikes. Another look at West. Just the power of that game. And I think one of the things that Preston's done, I think he probably threw it a little bit harder than what he's doing now. I think he's realizing you slow it down and let the ball do some work and don't necessarily try to overpower things. Now Arena with a chance to regain the lead again on lane 14. Got it. 7 in a row for Arena.
This is amazing.
Yeah, this is great stuff. We have seen a combined now 13 consecutive strikes. 2 of the first 3 shots were not strikes. And ever since then, it's been nothing but. Got another one. So no matter what West does, he cannot shut out Jonathan Arena here. Arena's going to finish this match, and he can get up and win it. That's what you want when you pick to start first and finish second. When you've got that choice, it's what you want to be able to do. You want to be able to control your own destiny and get up and make a shot. Now West down by 20 again in this situation that he's seemingly been in a whole bunch of times in this match. Chance to get up and throw 2 strikes to tie the match. Slaps the 7. This has been sensational. I don't know if he wanted to. He's taking a re-rack here on lane 13. Gives you a chance to take a little time.
Exactly.
And you don't look. You don't see much of that at this level. That's poise right there. That's someone who has been in this spot plenty of times. Give yourself a chance to relax. Make sure you got, you know, you don't want to pin off spot either. If you see, you look at these things enough times, you see something that's just slightly off spot, and it might cause you to leave something standing. So here we go in the 10th. Eight in a row for West, and we're dead even again. All right, so here's the situation. If West strikes out, it's 280, which would mean Arena would need to throw the first 2 strikes in the 10th to win the match.
He has to have 2.
Right. Now, a strike and 9 for 279 certainly brings in the possibility of a tie at that point.
Yeah. Well, Arena wanted to bowl
Yeah,
last.
exactly. Or even 9, like 9 spare here would be 269, would certainly bring that in. So here we go. Wall shots. I think he picked up the speed a little bit that time. It was about the same actually, but he just still got the wall shot, and now a chance for 280. Arena must throw 1 strike in the 10th. If he gets this one, if West gets this one for 280s, he'll take another re-rack. If he gets this one, Arena has to get up and throw 2 strikes in the 10th.
Well, Arena wanted to bowl the 10th frame.
Yeah,
He
there
wanted
you
to be
go.
the last one.
There you go. He wanted to start first and finish last. Here you go. And the 7-pin will fall for 280, and that is huge because, again, that means Arena has to double. Had the 7-pin stood, then we could have had strike 9 spare for a tie. Tie's basically out of play at this point. So here you go. Arena, 2 strikes to win it. Anything less than 2 strikes, and Preston West is your singles champion. Got 1.
Good shot.
Here it is. This is what you want in a singles final like this. 1 shot to win.
Looks good.
It's got a hold. He got it. Jonathan Arena just needs to stay behind the foul line here, and he will be the singles champion.
I said 290, 280.
There you go. You did say that early. Look at the shot here.
Flush.
And Jonathan is not normally one to hide his emotions, and what a sensational final match. And again, Arena just, they got to back up about 2 feet here. Just throw it down the middle. Take gutters and foul lights out of play right now. Up through the nose. 287 to 280.
Wow.
Jonathan Arena is your state boys singles champion. And what a match.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would have to say, for
Wow.
our first year of having a step left,
That is great.
finals like this, it's prophetic.
If it gets better than that down the road, we're in for something special.
Oh,
Crescent.
Credit to both of these young men for giving us a show here like they did. I mean, we had 20 consecutive strikes. You know, that is great stuff.
wow. I knew we'd have some big numbers, but
Yeah,
this
that's
is
as
amazing.
good. That is as good as it gets. 287 to 280 our final here. Congrats to both of our champions, Sidney Lee of Dutchtown to Jonathan Arena of Archbishop Shaw. We'll have some awards presentations getting ready to happen down the way. We'll get those shots, and before we go to that, Todd, let me just get your final thoughts, because that'll be the last thing we give you here is these awards presentations. So,
Well, I'm so happy for these bowlers. They bowled awesome the entire season, not just today. I'm already looking forward to next year. This makes me want to go out there and
go get after it. Yeah, the season starts again in January, and it'll wrap up once again with this kind of format. So,
This year, our bronze medalist
so
from
we'll get our
Dutchtown,
So we'll get our medal presentations here, starting with the girls. Ashton Yochis of Dutchtown wins the bronze. Yochis, we mentioned, headed to Nebraska and a 4.0 student.
All right, our silver medalist. Up from the street
She's got an amazing future ahead of her over at Nebraska.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
Congratulations.
Paris Mendones of Airline wins the silver medal. And look, we mentioned it during the girls' final. She's got nothing to be ashamed of at all. I mean, she bowled tremendously well, threw every shot in the pocket, and just didn't carry.
Now, another thing about this format is it gives these bowlers an opportunity to show us how good they really are.
Yeah,
and
no doubt.
It was a lot of fun.
And
No
then
doubt.
finally, our gold medalist from Dutchtown. Also, we have Sidney Lee.
Sidney Lee, recipient of the gold medal, is our girls singles champion.
And she'll be back.
And she is back. She is just a sophomore. So is Jonathan Arena. We've got 2 more years.
You got a photo with all 3 of the medalists, okay?
As our girls medalist pose for our photos here. There we go. We got a better shot there. Everybody trying to get their pictures.
All right, now in the boys, the second Cephalon finish for the boys. He shot a very, very nice 245, but it wasn't good enough to advance past that round. And I want to congratulate from Woodlawn here out of Baton Rouge, John Cador, our bronze medalist. One of the most exciting matches that we ever had so far. I want to congratulate our runner-up from Dutchtown, Mr. Preston West. To go 280 and have a tough opponent. Congratulations, Preston.
And I think 280 today was not good enough.
That's, look, that's crazy. That is crazy.
And congratulations to this young man coming through in the clutch. You help your coaches not have to have couples therapy, so congratulations. Jonathan Arena from Archbishop Shaw, congratulations. Gold medalist, so he deserved it. Good vote.
So there it is. Congratulations to Sidney Lee. Congratulations to Jonathan Arena on what has been a sensational first ever singles final here at the LHSAA Bowling Championships. Our thanks to our entire crew. Our thanks to you, Todd. And stay with Crescent City Sports because we'll have a lot more live streaming coming up here in the month of April as we head into baseball and softball playoffs. A lot of regular season action, seasons wind down as well. And our thanks as well to the entire team at the LHSAA for allowing us to be a part of this, to bring this to you here the last 2 days. So for Todd Bourgeois, I'm Lenny Van Gilder saying so long from Baton Rouge. And congratulations once again to Sidney Lee and to Jonathan Arena, your state singles champions in LHSAA bowling for 2023. Until next time, so long, everybody.